In 1994, Nintendo did something kind of wild. They handed off one of their biggest arcade mascots to a small British studio known for Battletoads and deconstructing Nintendo's hardware like it's nothing. That studio was Rare, and instead of sticking to the Donkey Kong series' roots as a high-score, quarter-grabbing arcade-esque game, they turned the Big Ape into a household name again, creating one of the greatest 2D platformer series of all time. The Donkey Kong Country trilogy went on to sell nearly 19 million copies on the Super Nintendo, cementing the series as one of Nintendo's best during that time. But then came Donkey Kong 64, another game made by Rare. You'd think that with the success and positive reception to Rare's other 3D collectathon outing, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64 would be a smash hit, right? It seems that now it's only known as the one with the rap and way too many collectibles. After that, Donkey Kong went back into hibernation. Rare and Nintendo had a falling out. Donkey Kong really stuck to spin-offs and gimmicks. For every DK King of Swing we got, there was an equally mid Mario and Donkey Kong game to match. It wasn't until Nintendo tossed the keys to Retro Studios, the people behind the Metroid Prime series, that Donkey Kong returned to glory. Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze reminded everyone just how good 2D platforming can feel. And at this time, with how bland the new Super Mario Bros. Series was getting, Donkey Kong seemed like the next big platformer that Nintendo could ride out. And then, silence. 11 years of silence. Sure, we got ports and remasters to keep our bananas warm, but nothing new. As a Donkey Kong Country fan, it was agony watching direct after direct, hoping that the leaks and rumors were true, only to walk away disappointed each time. Now fast forward. With the Switch 2 came Donkey Kong Bananza, a brand new 3D platformer that's serving as this system's Mario Odyssey. Huge sales, glowing reviews, a surprising 10 out of 10 IGN review, wow. All putting Donkey Kong back in the spotlight. And don't get me wrong, I love it. But it leaves me asking one very important question. Will we ever get a new Donkey Kong Country game? Bananza is amazing. I've been pouring all my time into it as of late. But it might have ironically killed off the very series that made it possible. Development studios don't typically double down on two different flavors of the same character at once. Just like how we rarely see 2D and 3D Mario or Sonic games dropping side by side, it's hard to imagine that Nintendo could go back to the old style of 2D Donkey Kong platforming now that they've given the series one of the most creative and interactable 3D sandboxes we've ever seen. With Nintendo, it's like once they perfect the formula of a series, we don't see too much of it from there on. Once 3D Mario began to take off, 2D games felt like side content. F-Zero and Star Fox haven't really been heard of since they've mastered the design of those two games. Sure, we've gotten spin-offs and bad games, but nothing substantial to either of those series in decades. It's pretty widely agreed upon that Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are among some of Nintendo's best 2D platformers, taking everything that worked about the original trilogy, bumping it up, and removing the bloat, like Kiddy Kong.
You like that? Huh? You like that? You just tune this out, don't you?
But despite how good those games were, how universally praised they were, Bananza is blowing them both out of the water. It makes you wonder if 2D Donkey Kong will be relegated to challenge levels or to little nods to the series' past, which we do get to see in Bananza, instead of any new, substantial content. I love Bananza. It'd be idiotic to say that I don't. I think it's among one of the best 3D platformers of all time, encouraging exploration but never forcing you to. It lets you take things at your own pace, explore only what you choose to explore, and having the courage to scale back, where Mario Odyssey buried kingdoms under hundreds of moons, Bananza had the courage to scale back, making every collectible feel worth finding. But it's bittersweet. Growing up on Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii, with all the memories I have playing the game with my brother and my neighbors, getting frustrated with each Golden Temple level, and vibing to some of the immaculate music, not just in that game, but throughout the whole series, it's like we're losing one of Nintendo's most stylistically unique series, just because the development team for Bonanza decided to pop off and create a masterpiece. Okay. What sucks even more is that Retro Studios, the team that revived Donkey Kong back in the early 2010s, aren't even working on Donkey Kong anymore. As of now, they're busy finishing up Metroid Prime 4. But even before that, it felt like they weren't allowed to touch Donkey Kong again. Retro literally saved the series from bongos and rhythm games. You'd think they'd earn a little more autonomy after that. Instead, after Tropical Freeze, Retro Studios was tossed around a bunch of different development projects. First rumored to be working on a cancelled Star Fox project, then pulled into Metroid Prime 4, a game whose development has reportedly been restarted multiple times. And that's where the worry comes in. Is Retro even allowed to make another Donkey Kong game? If Nintendo decides to keep them locked to Metroid, or worse, throws them onto something new like ARMS 2, will they even trust another studio to carry the Country series forward? Right now, unless Nintendo has some secret Donkey Kong master plan in the pipeline, the future of the Country series is up in the air. But how can that be so? We've all seen the recent Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World, and they wouldn't just release a remaster of Country Returns for the Switch for no reason, right? Well, in the Mario movie, Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong was practically a co-lead alongside Mario, the two of them duking it out being a focal point for a lot of the film's advertising. On top of that, we got a massive look at all the other apes in that universe, an entire utopia where they are the engineers behind all of the carts used in the Mario Kart series, a neat detail that was included in Bonanza. Super Nintendo World's first major expansion was for Donkey Kong. And it wasn't just a singular ride. We got an entire area with a ride based off of the iconic minecart tracks. It's almost as if Nintendo is betting on DK being an IP that can stand alongside some of their other top performers like Mario and Zelda. And what's with that Switch port of Donkey Kong Country Returns? I'm a huge fan of the game, but even I can agree it doesn't need 3 different versions on 3 different consoles. And to release it so close to when the Switch 2 was coming out? What are we doing? It's worrying to see the Donkey Kong franchise be in such an odd place at the moment. Bonanza is giving the character a ton of attention, but things like the movie, park expansion, and the recent re-release of Country Returns makes it seem that Nintendo wants to push 2D Donkey Kong content as well. I suppose all we can do is wait and see. Maybe we'll get something new from Retro once they finish up Prime 4 this year, or we might have to add on to that 11-year wait for a new Donkey Kong Country game. I'm not saying that we need one right now, we just got blessed with the brand new 3D Donkey Kong game, but maybe just a direction as to where the series is going, or if it's up in limbo now. Either way, as a fan of Donkey Kong, it's good to see the big guy get the attention he deserves. I'm just hoping it'll result in something substantial for the Donkey Kong Country series.